Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to CSTV. I'm your host, Kathleen. Now, today, I'm focusing on the bomb blast, the twin bomb blast in Kampala, Uganda. Now, I think Uganda has been one of the countries in the East Africa region that has not faced the wave of terrorism as compared to its brother Kenya. But I think the recent events in Kampala, Uganda are pointing out to the presence of a terror cell in the country. And I'm saying this because last month there was also an explosive in the country that was later on linked to an Islam militant group in the country. And today there were two explosives. And I'm doing this discussion because for me it is about the strategic approach with which these explosives actually were done. All this bombing was done. The target places, the central police station, and the parliament buildings. You know, when you're talking about terror groups, they operate, I think, in a very intelligent way, and they normally come out in a way that they want to create that impact. You know, when you bomb a police station, already is like you have brought the country down on its knees, that even the police officers who are supposed to respond to distress, already they are in distress. So the confusion starts there. So the fact that this explosive, one of the targeted place was a central police station, it's evident that actually the suicide bombers had a target. Number one, we have to paralyze the security response. And then they head to the parliament buildings, the house of law and order, the house that is responsible for the formulation of policies and so forth. They also have a message. It's like bombing the government itself. So it's like bombing a parliamentary building. Maybe it could found some some members of parliament there in session. You see, it is an attack that was strategically planned, but to my thinking never went as planned. And why I'm saying that it's an attack that perhaps never went as planned, it's because the explosive at the central police stations happens, and then 3 minutes later the explosive at the parliament building happens. And I think like the suicide bombers who were doing this detonation never coordinated themselves well, because then the really confusion that they wanted to clean didn't come maybe out clearly the way they wanted, and maybe whatever they were planning, the impact they wanted to cause in Uganda maybe didn't come out as they wanted, because the really confusion that came out is that people are running away from one explosive, and then 3 minutes later there's another one. Maybe that was the most confusing part. And maybe the saddest part is the killing of the police officers and the other public non-combatants who died, and the 33 members of the public who were injured. But all said and done, the last month explosive in Uganda and today's bombing twin bombing of Kampala is an indicator that actually we have a terror cell in Uganda. We have always been talking about Al-Shabaab in Somalia and in Kenya, and it's like we closed our eyes and closed our ears to other countries in EACC. And one thing that the East Africa community then by now should be able to know is that terrorists are within the region, and they need then to bring together efforts in the fight against this terrorism. I saw that immediately after the Uganda bomb, or the Uganda explosive, Kenya issued a security advisory. And you know, these things are happening in a very funny way. 3 terrorists have run away from a police post from a prisons, that is Kamit maximum prison in Nairobi. We don't know where they are. And then one day later, Uganda experiences a twin bomb attack. Then Kenya is giving a security advisory. It communicates a lot in terms of security, fragility, and terror threats in the East Africa region. The fight is not on Al-Shabaab alone. I think it's high time that the war against terrorism expanded to look at other terror cells. It is some years back, I remember there were these young women from, I think it's Kampala again, who were found, actually they were arrested in relation to have started a jihad cell in Uganda. And the fact that these women were arrested tells me that it's not necessarily that this jihad cell also like disintegrated. So a lot needs to be looked in terms of security in East Africa. Now we have Al-Shabaab in Somalia and Kenya. We also have individual violent groups within the East Africa region. Every country has its violent groups. And we also have transnational violent groups. And I think it's high time that the East Africa community came together and looked at the war against terrorism as one of its priority agenda. And I'm saying this because an economic bloc that is mad with terrorism is not going to be a productive one in terms of investment, in terms of transport and the security of the investors, human resource, and so forth. So for me, it is a call that maybe we should stop looking at Somalia too much and start looking at each individual nation's militant groups and try to find out the terror cells in each individual country. Like, we need to clean our houses from within, because Kenya has had a good share of its terror attacks from Al-Shabaab. Now we have Uganda. Maybe next will be Tanzania and so forth. So we really need to put our houses in order. We really need to take the war against terrorism seriously in East Africa. And we also need to secure our major points of authority and sovereignty. You know, when terrorists actually target police stations and parliament buildings, it tells you that they don't fear anything. And I think Kenya's had its share of parliament being bombed. Yeah, like Kenya has had its share of even terrorists marching to a police station, Mombasa Central Police Station. We saw how the women marched there and attacked the police officers. We have had cases of Mpeketoni uh, attacks where terrorists start by paralyzing security response by attacking police posts and police stations. So imagine if terrorists can march into police stations and attack. How secure are you as a common citizen who is not even armed in any way? Now, it's a call that all of us, let's be very vigilant. Let our national intelligence systems actually be improved and enhanced in a better way, that we can be able to identify or detect these plan for attacks before they actually happen. Otherwise, let's meet next time in another developing story. Keep subscribing.